The Brew House was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewhouse.com. Hello everyone and welcome into the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. I'm Bill Pucko, joined as always by Pat Duffy from the Breakroom at WCMF.
You know, when I'm not here, I miss being here. I want you guys to know that.
But you're always here.
It's true.
Mike Catalana co-hosting from 13 WHAM News.
Good to be back.
And it's our pleasure to welcome in a first-timer on the show, Greg Keagle, a former Major League Baseball player with the Detroit Tigers, who went to MCC, and he's now the pitching coach at RIT. Welcome.
Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about your career. The first thing that struck me is that you were a big league pitcher in the steroid era, the big year, the McGuire-Sosa era. What was that like? And were you at all suspicious or resentful that things weren't quite exactly the way they should be at that point?
Well, I don't want to say that it was that rampant, that, you know, it was something that you saw in the clubhouse all the time, but certainly it was, people were aware of it. And it was difficult at times because when you'd pitch against guys that you felt like balls maybe traveled a little farther and you felt like there could be opportunities where maybe there was an unfair advantage, you know, it was frustrating. But at the same point, they're talented guys, and I don't think that steroids had a lot to do with, you know, batting averages.
Really? But these guys are facing you, and it would seem to me too that at some point, I was always surprised it never got confrontational, you know, among the players.
You'd be surprised as far as, I mean, the hardest part, I think, for me, you know, in the big leagues the first couple of years was learning how to play as a team, and you're in direct competition financially, you know, career-wise with guys right next to you. You know, that's a tough dynamic. You know, we were young and it was exciting, and it's a time in your life where, you know, just being part of the team is what's most important. So, you know, like I said, the frustrating part as far as, you know, other guys doing it or having unfair advantages, you know, you just didn't notice that. Like I said, maybe in hindsight, as I look back on it, it's different. But when I was playing, you're more focused about just trying to get guys out, and the game is too pure. And that the steroids, as frustrating as that may have been, in my honest opinion, I don't think it tarnished the game enough.
I'm always curious about the moment, good or bad, because I've heard like basketball players say they got crossed over and almost fell down. They realized, oh boy, I'm in the NBA. Or a hockey player who got spun around or got blasted against the boards. You have a major league moment where somebody hit one on you and you were like, yeah.
Yeah. That's there's a couple of guys that, you know, it seemed like they had more home runs than at bats. You know, Bernie Williams was that guy. There was one time in Kansas City that guy by the name of Joe Vitiello, it was 2-0 count, and he hit the ball well into the waterfall out there. So it was that was definitely one moment.
Well, what about that bravado you have to have as a pitcher, especially as a guy who, when you're coming up, you know, nobody really knows you that you're facing. Like, what did you have to do to get in your head to take, you know, you're brand new in the majors, you're trying to make a name for yourself, but you have to look like you're not intimidated in any kind of way?
Well, that's a little bit, you know, goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the whole steroid thing. Is, you know, your focus is so much about, you know, trying to impress the manager and do the right things that it takes a little bit of time to get comfortable at the big league level to actually just compete. You know, you do worry so much about being on the team and impressing the veterans that the amount of focus it takes to succeed and to get there is it's exhausting.
Do you still like the game? I mean, you're 18 years removed now. It's different.
Yeah, I do. I love it. You know, I mean, it's you watch the game differently. You know, my kids probably get tired of me yelling from the sideline or from the dugout when I'm getting a chance to coach them, because maybe I'm a little bit a stickler to certain certain fundamentals. But, you know, the game is still, in my opinion, the best game out there, and it's still my national pastime.
One quick thing I wanted to ask you. I looked at your stats, and if I think I have this right, did you have one major league at bat?
I did.
What happened?
that ball looked this big coming down the middle.
And it's really
all 3 swings, and I went down.
And the pitchers love to hit. Like, that was important to you, wasn't it?
Absolutely. When they announced that we were doing interleague play, and this was 98, and I got a chance to, I was a starter, so I knew that I'd possibly get an opportunity to get some at-bats. BP was the most fun. So the week, prior, we're heading down to Atlanta. We're taking BP in the Metrodome, so that was really pretty cool. And then, I remember going down to the cages, and I'm ready, and so I was convinced I was going to hit one in 3 swings.
For the record, who got you?
Denny Nagel.
That's a good one to get, though.
Yeah, it was Denny Nagel, Keagle, so it was, play on words.
We're going to talk the NFL draft when we continue. The Hillside Family of Agencies works with youth and families on their own terms, helping them pursue their own goals, whether at home, work, school, or one of the Hillside campuses, offering encouragement and commitment, standing with families, helping to create a healthy future. The Buffalo Bills quote of the week was brought to you by the Rochester Geico office. Give the Rochester Geico team a chance to see how much you could save on all your insurance needs. Call or stop by the office on West Henrietta Road, open Monday through Saturday. Our Geico Rochester quote of the week, Doug Whaley, what do you think?
I like it. I like the idea. They got to be true to what they are. They got to look at their numbers and say, here are the guys we like. If it gets to that point and none of those guys are there and they think they can trade back, because that's what he's talking about, I like it. They're not a player away. And yeah, you could find a great player at 19. But if you can get something else that helps this team, I'm all for them doing it.
Very good. This portion of the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, is brought to you by the Hillside Family of Agencies. All right, Duffy, you're the general manager. Whaley, draft day, 19th pick. What are you going to do?
I'm staying where I am. Like, listen, there's too much. I look at it in patterns, right? Like last year, we got really lucky in the second round with Ronald Darby, right? Fantastic football player. Can you do that again? Let's say you get out of the first round, because chances are if you're at 19, if you're going to get anything worth it to move, you're probably going out of the first, or you're going late first, which is like an early second round pick. Stay where you are. Don't go up to 2. Dear God, don't go up to 2 like the rumors have been all week that they're going to go up and get this quarterback. Just stand pat. Take the best player on the board, and let's see what happens from here. Don't take the risks you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm with you on the moving up that way. I mean, there has to be somebody. Look, they went up, gave up a 1, and got Sammy Watkins. Now, right now, aren't we all happy they have Sammy on the team? Sammy's a great player, but boy, you give up those picks. The moving back part, I guess it would depend on what it is. And if you think you can get a similar player, moving back 4, 5, 6, 7 spots, and pick up an additional third or another pick, because you can get a good player there too. You have to trust that you have enough players there that you know what you can get. And don't be afraid like Pat.
Well, I mean, but the risk, like look who we've missed on in the second, third, and fourth in the last couple of drafts. Like that's the black hole of this team. They're doing well in the first. They're doing pretty good in the second. When you hit that third, fourth, and fifth round, what is the use in picking up a third, fourth, and fifth if you're going to miss on it? And traditionally with Whaley, that's where he misses in the meat of that draft. He does well in the first. He does well in the second. He finds some gems late. Stay where you are.
What's it like to be on the other side of draft day, waiting for your name to be called?
That's a pretty nerve-wracking day, but it's, a chance of a lifetime for a young athlete, and it's something that, is well-deserved when that phone does ring.
Western New York guy and stuff, is there a magic bullet, a way to approach something like the NFL draft that you'll succeed with?
No, I don't. I don't think that there's a magic bullet. I think that it's, at the end of the day, it's talent. And I'm a huge chemistry guy. I think people who make chemistry, make the team better, and with chemistry, make the team better.
You got guys? You got guys you want?
For this draft, for the Bills? I don't know. I think it depends. I think it's more about, the position than it is them knowing who they like for their fit. Look, we all know this is the Rex year, right? Mm-hmm. It's Rex. They've given him everything he wants, so it's going to be
including his brother.
And when I say a Rex-type player, I don't mean personality-wise. I mean scheme fit. I mean let him get those guys if that's what he's going to do, and then try to build that defense. Because I do believe it's going to be it should be defense. That's what they need to be drafted.
Well, the bottom line is if you believe the rumors that are going around that Whaley and Doug have a year, maybe 2 left before they're both shot out the door, you have to let Rex make these first couple picks, because then if you shoot him out the door, not giving him the ability to do what he was brought here to do.
He's not making the picks. But I would hope they're in concert together saying it's this kind of a guy that you're picking.
You're going to tell me, if you're Pagula in that room and you got Rex saying, I want this guy here, and you got Whaley saying, I want someone opposite side of the ball, you're not going to listen to Rex?
He better not be. He better be listening to Whaley. You pay Whaley to pick the players. You pay Rex to coach the players.
This portion of the original Rochester Press Box has been brought to you by the Hillside family of agencies. Like it or not, is next. As we go to break, it is time for the Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning Trivia Question of the Week. When you're searching for a local heating and air conditioning contractor, look no further than one of the most reliable teams in the area at Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning. Is called Turnbull at 343-2005. As we come back from the break, time for the answer to the Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning Trivia Question of the Week. When you're searching for a local heating and air conditioning contractor, look no further than one of the most reliable teams in the area at Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning. Just call 343-2005. See New York in a whole new way. Amtrak is offering a 15% discount for all travel inside New York State and to Montreal. Visit Amtrak.com for the See New York discount. Safe, comfortable, affordable, and easy. Amtrak. Enjoy the journey. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Greg, like it or not, I've got Stephen Wright, a pitcher, apologizing to Chris Colabello, a batter, who he hit in a game.
I like it. I think that, as tough as the sport is, certainly people play it the right way. And if, there's times for a brushback pitch that gets away, but if there's a pitch that literally just got away, I don't think anybody ever wants to see somebody get hurt.
Yeah, I've never seen it before, and I've always thought like the pitchers are somehow above showing any regret about hitting a batter.
No, I don't believe that at all. I think that, there's a certain bravado you got to have and a mound presence that you have to have, but when you hurt a guy like that, we're all, there's a brotherhood, and I don't think anybody wants to see somebody get hurt like that.
But that brotherhood part, okay, so they hit one of your guys, now you got to go back. Is there ever an argument like in the dugout where they tell you that and you're like, and you don't want to do that, or you don't think you just got to go out and do it, right?
Me personally, there wouldn't be any type of an argument on that. I don't think that anybody had, again, within the confines of that type of a situation, I would have no problems. You're never headhunting, and you don't want to hurt a guy or ruin a career or things of that nature. But big, strong men in there, if they get a muscle shot, with a fastball to send a message, that's a little different.
Well, so you've done it then. Who'd you get?
And I threw behind Manny twice, got warned, and he slid in spikes high on Travis Fryman. So I missed him a couple of times. I was pretty nervous there. He's a little bigger than I am. So. But at the same point, I honestly just missed, and it's tougher to do than you realize to hit a guy. So in the minor leagues, I had one time that I wasn't asked to do it. A funny story, I had a manager that walked out during this whole melee because a catcher had gotten run over at the plate. And the catchers coming to look for me. He was a player out of Louisiana, Leroy McGinnis. And Leroy says, where's Keagle at? Where's Keagle at? I want you to hit this next guy dead in the head. And he wore it. I got him in the butt and in the small of the back. And benches cleared. And I remember at the time, though, I was very nervous. Didn't know whether I should do it because in the college ranks, you're not supposed to. And then this was my very first year in the big leagues or in professional ranks. And at that level, you're supposed to. You're protecting the 24 guys you play with.
Pat, just quickly, like it or not, Jeff Van Gundy applying for coaching jobs.
I mean, there's a reason he hasn't gotten asked to interview for a job in 5 years, right? I think he's good at what he does now. I think that there's probably more money in endorsements and commercials and things with what he does now with way less work. Stay where you are. Become a Dick Vitale. Become that kind of person. Leave coaching, man.
I think Gruden. He's like the Gruden
He is.
for
That's
basketball.
a good comparison. I think he is. I think his name's going to come up a few times. Doesn't hurt that his brother's coaching well, as strange as that sounds. It's like they are like, because you got Gruden's brother coaching, and he's there. It'll just elevate him even more.
If you're him, would you take it?
If you want to coach, you gotta do it. By the way, a quick story on that. John Doss used to work for us, was in California, saw Jeff Gundy walking out of a hotel and yelled, "Go McQuaid," and Van Gundy gave him a thumbs up. He hears that McQuaid stuff all the time, former McQuaid coach.
That's such a great story. This portion of the original Rochester Press Box has been brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished Business is next. The Rochester Press Box Stat of the Week, brought to you by Cariglio's Pizza, with 5 locations serving the Rochester area. Visit carigliospizza.com today. Put more fun in your day with ice cream flavored coffees at Dunkin' Donuts. Go for delicious flavors like butter pecan, cookie dough, or new pistachio. Enjoy one today. America runs on Dunkin'.
When I first saw him play, I thought he was the most exciting player I've ever seen play the game of basketball. I still think that today. I think we've been fortunate. We've had a lot of great players, but I think there's really only one.
Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion, Unfinished Business, is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Start us off, Pat.
To all those people that have gone online and say they're not going to buy tickets to Bills games this year, or they want refunds for their season tickets because Rex Ryan introduced Donald Trump at the First Niagara Center, shut up. Seriously. Like, these people that are very upset about Rex Ryan vocalizing who he's going to support for President of the United States are the same people that have no problem calling shows like mine or other sports radio shows and telling me how much they think Rex Ryan is awful at his job. Or even worse, going on about things that are going on in Rex Ryan's personal life and tying that to his job and how terrible he is for that. I find it very ironic that the folks that are most upset about Rex Ryan voicing his opinion for who should be president are the ones that are most actively voicing their opinions about how much they dislike Rex Ryan. Do you not see the problem here? Shut up, watch the game, enjoy it. It doesn't matter who Rex Ryan wants to be president. It doesn't matter who you want to be president. Buy your ticket, watch the game. I'm so sick of this stuff, Bill.
I don't need to know who he wants to vote for.
But he has a right to tell you. Do you get upset by it? It upsets you? Because I told you to shut up.
Well, it depends on which side of the aisle you kind of.
Oh, wait, so if it was your guy, you would have been okay with it?
Yes.
That is such a hypocritical statement.
Well, I'm going to stay away from politics and religion because I was trained better. What I want to talk about is the fact that we've got college sports, a couple of different colleges in the area, and the sports are great, and we'd love to see people come out. I'm a coach for the RIT Tigers baseball team, a little not so shameless plug. And I think that it'd be great if the community endorsed our local teams. I know that the hockey gets a ton of turnout, which is awesome. I think that U of R and Brockport and MCC and all these schools have some great athletics, and the community support and the community behind it really is a huge endorsement and a great recruiting tool. You can't go to a lot of cities. I've been to a lot of cities in America, and College Town, USA, Rochester has a lot to offer, and great minds create great communities.
And once in a while, one of those kids strikes it big, right?
That's right.
Like Greg Keagle.
We lost the Pearl this week, Pearl Washington, a legend at Syracuse. And Jim Boeheim has said he's the most influential player, most important player in the history of the program. There's been some great players there since Boeheim's been there. Pearl came to the Dome as this guy from New York City. He was the guy that was a playground legend that some NBA people like Red Auerbach said when he was in college, even in high school, this guy is going to be an NBA star. It didn't matter what happened with Pearl's NBA career. When he was in college and when he played, he made that building, he made that program something special. They had moved to the Dome. Somebody else put the walls up. Somebody else elevated that roof. Somebody else did all that work. But it really was Pearl Washington who built the Carrier Dome and really helped Jim Boeheim build that program. 52 years old, great guy by all accounts. They're going to miss the Pearl in Syracuse and around the basketball community.
Yeah, one of the foundation members of the whole Big East Conference. There's a lot of basketball programs outside of Syracuse that owe him a debt.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you for watching. This has been the original Rochester Press Box and Unfinished Business brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Pat, thanks very much. Nice job.
Hey, I got an idea. From now on, if I don't like what he says, can I hit him as hard as I can with a baseball in the back?
Well, we'll ask that. We'll leave that to Greg. Mike, thank you. Greg, what do you think?
It might be a little bit severe, but
You don't have to hang out with him on a weekly basis.
all right.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on the original Rochester Press Box.
Not even a pitch.